Hi, I'm Rev Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for over 40 years. I'm going through the text again this year, asking Jesus for clarity, and then I write from that clarity, and that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. Today we're reading from A Course in Miracles, Chapter 10, Section 5, The Denial of God, and we're going to read paragraphs 3 and 4. Paragraph 3 tells us allegiance to the denial of God is ego's religion. The God of sickness obviously demands a denial of health because health is in direct opposition to its own survival. But consider what this means to you. Unless you are sick, you cannot keep the gods you made, for only in sickness could you possibly want them. Blasphemy, then, is self-destructive, not God-destructive. It means that you're willing not to know yourself in order to be sick. This is the offering your God demands, because having made him out of your insanity, he is an insane idea. He has many forms, but although he may seem to be many different things, he is but one idea, the denial of God. Sometimes as I read what has actually occurred in the mind in order to experience separation, I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. When I deny God, which I do every time I indulge in ego thinking, the drama, the guilt, the fear, the pain and suffering, I deny not only God, but also myself, my true self. I identify what I am. I deny what I am. Well, guess I identify it too as my as my ego, my body. I have looked at a lot of thoughts and beliefs. In the past, I'd hidden them from myself. I saw the belief that I was unfairly treated, and I felt so sorry for myself that it made me cry. Sometimes it made me so angry I lashed out. Then I felt discouraged because it seemed I would never get to the end of these beliefs. I forgot that it is only one belief taking many forms. What I finally did was to look at the many forms in order to make the decision to finally release the belief in unfairly treated to the Holy Spirit. When I remembered what I was doing, I was able to detach somewhat from the emotional reaction. But when I forgot the purpose of this work, I just felt helpless. The ego mind is very attracted to the drama of hopelessness and will go there if I don't stop the mind from doing so. I saw myself doing this one day, forgetting why I was looking at these thoughts and getting caught up in the beliefs and their effects. And here's what that looked like. One thing happened at work, and while it seemed a minor thing, it triggered a deeply rooted fear in my mind. I reacted to it, and then the ego mind dredged up more fears, and it all just cascaded. There was enough detachment for me to realize that this was an ego reaction and so meaningless, but the emotion was very strong. And so last night when I went to bed, I asked the Holy Spirit to teach me in my sleep and to heal my mind. When I do this, and especially when I listen to the Course in my sleep, my dreams reflect the Holy Spirit's teaching in a very helpful and comforting way. I wake up from my sleep happy and encouraged. This time, though, I had the strangest dreams. It was about people coming back from awakened states and saying that it isn't all it's cracked up to be. These people were angry and they were struggling, and gunplay was involved. When I woke up, I was just confused. I didn't understand how this was helpful, but I didn't feel upset about the dream, so I knew it was symbolic. It was the ego version of waking up, finding it unsatisfying and wanting to return to the world of high drama. I see that this is what was happening in my mind now, and the reason I keep falling into the rabbit hole and seemingly losing my way. I'm doing the work that needs to be done to release myself from the dream, and the part of the mind that's attached to the dream is doing what it can to keep me engaged. This is just wearing, but As I become cognizant of what is happening, I am less affected. Just like yesterday, I would feel upset and weepy, then I would pull myself away from that emotion and feel that I have a purpose. I would get angry and then remember that this is just the ego judgment of the situation and the ego belief and defense to attack. And I would pull myself away again and focus on my purpose. Not so long ago, it might have taken me days to disengage, and now it usually only takes minutes. The work is working. So that was in the past, and now I can report that it kept working. I'm learning the joy of full surrender, letting it all go, not just some of it, but all. It makes me happy. So happy that I feel like laughing all the time as I surrender to the love of Jesus. I'm aware of my ego fighting against this with sad and discouraging thoughts one moment and angry, hateful thoughts the next. Having recognized what is happening and surrendered to Jesus again, it is like a dark and heavy weight is lifted from me. So, paragraph 4, the denial of God. Sickness and death seem to enter the mind of God's Son against his will. The attack on God made his son think he was fatherless, and out of his depression, he made the God of depression. This was his alternative to joy, because he would not accept the fact that, although he was a creator, he had been created. Yet the son is helpless without the father, who alone is his help. I seemed to attack God when I chose to experience something unlike him. I read in A Course in Miracles that it might be easier. It was in A Course of Love. I read that it might be easier to understand if I use the word creation instead of God. So I think I attacked creation when I chose to experience something unlike creation. Yeah, that makes sense. That is exactly what we did. We wanted to see what it would be like to make something that could not possibly occur. And so the separation idea unfolded for us. Jesus says that this is when we made a detour into guilt. This is where the problem began. In our guilt, which of course led to fear, we became depressed. And so, having abandoned love, we made a God of depression. Having made ourselves fatherless, we decided we were our own creators. Now we seem to be alone and without help. We just keep digging ourselves in deeper and deeper as we try to correct what we have done and try to do this alone. We need our Father's help, but we have denied our Father, so we have no help. No wonder we're depressed. I was a little confused by the idea that we made a God of depression, but I suppose that's what we did. When things go wrong and there's nothing we can do to fix them, we turn to depression. We try to appease the depression with new fixes. And when that doesn't work, we turn to pharmaceuticals. If all else fails, we sacrifice ourselves on the altar of depression through sickness and death and even suicide. The only way out of this is to accept that we are not our own creators and that we're ready to accept our Father and his help in undoing what we have done. In my practical day-to-day experience of this, I see what I have been doing and what I must do to correct it. I see the dark thoughts that have been the natural consequence of separation thinking, and I turn to the voice for God to receive correction. It's a simple correction. It requires only my desire for healing that is not of my own making. This would seem easy enough, considering all the proof I have that I cannot do this to myself. Letting go of the fear of God and letting go of the desire to succeed on my own are the only two things I need in order to be successful in this endeavor. As I let go of my desire to succeed on my own and turn more and more often to the guide home that God placed in my mind, the peace and joy I experience help me to see that God is love and I have nothing to fear from him. Such a good thing to know, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back soon with another reading. See you then.